guys, first I just want to start out by saying thank you so much for tuning into this video. That is a tutorial on how I do one of my designs for any kind of cup, but today I'm doing it on a wine glass. And I also want to thank you for all the support and love you've shown me so far in this new business venture of mine. It's been so much fun talking with you all about all the fun designs and ideas that you have come up with, and then bringing those creations to life on tumblers and cups and water bottles, all of it. It has been so much fun, and I can't wait to see what the future has to hold. So I thought it would be fun if I did a video showing you kind of a behind the scenes look at everything that I do to get a cup ready, to designing it, to epoxying it, to sanding it, to epoxying again. It doesn't matter how many times I do this, it's always a little different. So it'll just be fun to see how this cup goes. I'm sure that I'll run into some issues because I do with every cup. I think it's just part of it. It's just crafting in general. I think there's always going to be issues with something, but that's okay. That's the fun of it. So what I thought we could do today, or actually this video is going to be a span of a couple days because epoxy does take 12 to 24 hours to set up. So I'll probably have to do a couple layers of epoxy on this project. So it'll be a couple days, and I'll edit it all down into one, and I'll try not to make it too long and boring for you. But what we are going to do is a buffalo plaid pattern on this stemless wine glass. I love buffalo plaid, and the holiday season is quickly approaching, and I always associate buffalo plaid with winter and the holidays and decorating. So what I plan to do with the set of buffalo plaid wine glasses that I am going to do is display them in my kitchen in my cupboard that has the glass doors on them. So when you walk into my kitchen, that's one of the first things you see. So let's get started. First of all, what I did is I just went to the dollar store, picked up a couple stemless wine glasses, because if you screw it up or you drop it like I've done in the past and it shatters, it's okay. It only costs $1. Or just go into your cupboard and find some wine glasses to redo in there. But I've prepped this glass with 91% rubbing alcohol. I just took actually a coffee filter, since that doesn't leave behind little fibers, and just quickly wiped it down. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you can see, I kind of have fingerprints on this already from handling it, but it's okay. The next thing we are going to need is blue painter's tape. It's got glitter and stuff all over it. My whole shop is just like a bottle of glitter exploded or something. It's terrible, but it's sparkly and pretty. So we'll need this to create the lines or the little squares of the buffalo plaid. We also need some Mod Podge. Give me any Mod Podge. This matte Mod Podge is just what I had on hand. I guess you could do dishwasher safe Mod Podge if you really wanted and not use epoxy, and it can be dishwasher safe after however many days it says on the back. But we are just going to use Mod Podge as our adhesive. Next, we need black and red glitter. This one is from Michael's Recollections Black. This one is just from Walmart. Both of them need to be extra fine glitter, and this is the stuff that gets everywhere. But just a pretty red color and a black color is all we need. We need a little container where we've mixed the red and the black, because every other square is going to be this mixed color. We also need a big, kind of like a fluffier brush to brush off in between coats, just get that excess glitter off. A razor blade, preferably pretty sharp, to cut the tape to have a straight line on the bottom, because we plan to take this bottom piece and just make it one color, and I think we'll do black on that. We need a paintbrush with a square end. I kind of gotta wash this, it's still full of glitter. A square end because it's super important that we get those straight lines to make the squares look straight. So just a small square brush is all you need to get the Mod Podge on. I think that's all we need. I don't think there was anything else. I'm sure there'll be something. All right, let's get it started. First, we need to take the blue painter's tape and make a little tab. This comes in handy later, so you're not having to pick the tape out and scrape and trying to find it. So we just pick any part of the cup, wrap it down, figure out some length, because remember we're going to cut the perfect circle around and have it be one color, which is black. So we look at the glass, we try to get it as straight as we can. See, I get these big chunks of glitter everywhere. Ugh. All right, that looks pretty straight. Make sure it's flat all the way against the glass, without any little creases in it, and it's preferable, but if it happens, it's okay. Now we take our second piece of tape, again, making sure we got a little tab on it. Go directly across from the first tape line you put. So help us gauge the space in between each one. I tend to not worry too much about spacing and getting it absolutely perfect. With buffalo plaid, most people won't notice if it's off a little bit, if a square isn't exactly perfect. And if they do notice, hopefully they don't say anything, and if they do, well, then they don't know what handmade stuff is like, or they don't know how to do it, or craft, or do that kind of stuff. So I just don't worry about it. Okay, so now in between these two tape marks, we need to even out as best as we can 2 more tape lines. Again, we're not going for perfection, but get as close as we can to it. Everybody's patience level is a little different when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm generally a perfectionist and I have to have it perfect all the time, but I'm learning to let go with a lot of this stuff, because the more I pick at it, the worse it gets, and then I end up getting frustrated. So I try to just let it go. If the tape wants to lay a certain way, just let it lay the certain way and you can fix it later. Okay. The next piece of tape. All right. And two, it helps cut out the creases as if you start in the middle and push your way out. That generally gives us more of a straighter line. It is hard working on curved surfaces, but all right, the first side is done. So I'm gonna speed this video up and I will be back in just a sec. So as you saw in the sped up version of this, I did the horizontal tape lines as well to create these squares. So again, we're not striving for absolute perfection, but the one important thing about getting these tape lines pretty crisp is that we don't want those folds in there. So when you're laying the tape across, you have to push the natural fold because of the curved glass to the tape lines, the horizontal tape lines. So you just kind of go through and just push to where the tape lines are so we don't have those creases where the Mod Podge and the glitter are going to go. So, I mean, again, just do the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't stress out about it. Now let's move on to the bottom. So remember, we want this part just to be all black. So that's where the razor comes in, and we're going to trim very carefully, cut around this circle and remove this tape. So then when we get all of this done, then we can do the black glitter on the bottom. So, very carefully, without cutting towards yourself, cut the tape. I'm at a wonky angle here, just because I'm trying to get you guys the best angle possible. So you can see what I'm doing. Alright. Okay, so there's that first tape line cut. You guys get the idea, so I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch me tediously do this. Okay, let's see here. We're back. So now that I have tape everywhere, and I almost cut myself 3 different times. I don't know if you can see that in the sped up version, but okay. Now we are ready for the Mod Podge part. We are going to start with the black color. We got our paintbrush. Let me wipe it down a little here. Got the glitter in it. The last cup I did. But it's okay. Not worried about it. These cute little Dixie bathroom cups that I will put the Mod Podge in so I don't get too much glitter inside my Mod Podge container. Even though there's quite a bit in there now. Ugh. I'm a hot mess down here in this shop of mine. Alright. So, it's pretty self-explanatory. All we have to do is just get the Mod Podge on the glass. We're going to try to get the Mod Podge on there as even as we can without having big gloopy streaks. All right. Mod Podge does dry really fast, so we gotta work kind of fast. Open up our glitter. Let's just sprinkle it on. Okay, as you can see, it's pretty see-through still. So we're going to do a couple layers of it as each layer dries. I'm going to keep going around doing the black, so I will be back once the black is all done. Okay, we are back with 3 good layers of just black glitter. See from the inside of the cup that there's some pretty good coverage going on there. So the next step is to peel off the tape that goes horizontal. So very slowly but surely, go all the way around. This is where our little tabs that we made came in handy. Okay, first one's off. Now on to the second one. Okay, so at this point, we are going to be using the mixed glitter that we have here. It's about 75% red, 25% black. We don't want too much black because it is such a dominating color. So we want there to be more red. So again, with the paintbrush, let's wipe it off a little. Paintbrush, square tip, this is where it really comes in handy because we don't have tape to just pick up on the extra glue or Mod Podge and glitter that we put on. So this is the part where we get super up close to these lines of the black squares. We just tuck it right up in there. Try to get as straight of a line as we can. And again, right? Sorry, when I focus, I lose all words and I just focus. Again, making sure it's not all glooped on there with big old streaks. Okay. Sprinkle the mixed on. It's okay if it gets in with the black. The black should be dry, so you can brush it off after the mixed dries. Tap it off. Turn it around. Next square. Alright. Sprinkle more glitter on. Something in there. Alright, you guys get the idea. We're going to do about 3 layers of the mixed as well, just like we did with the black, and then we will be ready for our next step. So I'll see you back here in just a minute. Okie dokie, we've got the 3 layers of the mixed glitter on the spaces that we had opened up when we had pulled off the first round of tape. So now let's get the glitter back into the little container here. I use a piece of folded parchment paper. It doesn't really hold on to the glitter, so it's easy just to fold it and get it back into the container so we can keep reusing it. I got a little impatient waiting for the coats of the glitter to dry, so I use a heat gun, this little heat tool thing, and just go over the Mod Podge, and it dries it pretty quick, so then I can move on to the next layer. All right, let's peel the next round of tape. So all of this tape is going to come off. So just like we did before, slowly pull it down. Over to the next one. You want to go a little slower just because there's so many layers of the Mod Podge on here that it just gets thick and it's been dried onto the tape, so sometimes it wants to lift and pull these little squares of glitter. Okay, one more. All right, so see how it's starting to take shape? Okay, so what we have to do now is, this gets tedious and it gets a little long, but it's worth it in the end, I promise. So every square that's next to the blacks has to be the mixed. Everything that's next to the mixed has to be the red. Kind of just say that to yourself in your head when you're doing it, just because it sucks when you do a whole cup and then you figure out, oh, I did it wrong, so it doesn't look like Buffalo Plaid. So the mixed goes next to the black, the red goes next to the mixed. So as long as we're working with the mixed and we want to keep the red color as pure as we possibly can, we are going to keep going with the mixed here. And again, this is where this square brush comes in really handy, because we're trying to get it square as we can. We don't have a guide anymore of the tape, so we need to use our square brush. So next to the black is the mixed. We just push it right up next to there. Try to get as straight a line as you possibly can on the bottom, where the red is going to go after we're all done working with this mixed. Oh, don't dip it in the glitter. Next to the black again. Straight a line as we possibly can get. This is where I go really quiet. Takes a lot of concentration, I guess. Okay. One more on this part. And then around the circle of the bottom of the cup. Okay, let's sprinkle on the mixed glitter. Got like a piece of glue in here. Come on. All right. So we'll let that first coat dry, and then we're going to use our little brush to brush off all the excess and then do our second coat. So now I'm just going to speed up the video so you don't have to watch me do the whole entire thing. We're back after doing 3 good coats of the mixed glitter, so now it's time just to fill in these last spaces. What we will do for those is just the pure red. This ruby red extra fine glitter is going to fill in all of these. I wanted to keep the red color as pure as I possibly can without any contamination from the black. So what I did is I got a whole new cup of Mod Podge, and I'm using a whole different brush, even though I could have washed the other brush, but there still are remnants of the black in it. So a whole new square brush, so we can get tight into those corners and get it as even as we possibly can. So now we'll just start getting all of this Mod Podge in here. I brushed off the other squares as best as I could. There's still gonna be loose glitter, and that's okay. We'll survive. There's a little bit of contamination from the black glitter, but I like to try to keep it as pure as possible, just so there's that contrast between all 3 of the little squares. Okay, dump the red on. All right. You guys get the idea, I think. You've watched me do this already 100 times. So now, once I get the 3 good coats of just the pure red glitter on all the squares that we have left, I'm going to do the bottom in black. So I'm going to finish by putting the Mod Podge on the bottom and then doing 3 good layers of just black glitter. Once that is all done and all dry, I'm going to take this and I'm going to do 2 or 3 good coats of this on this, so the glitter doesn't move, so the black doesn't contaminate the red, the pure red, any more than what it will already naturally do, no matter how hard I try. So 2 to 3 good coats of this. Once the glitter is all done and the Mod Podge is dry, and at that point we will be back and ready to start epoxying this wine glass. See you soon. All right, we are at the final step of the process of making a cup, and that is the epoxy method. So what we need to do is take equal parts of A and B epoxy. My A is kind of coming off. A and B epoxy. I use faux Rizzle UV resin. Or no, it's not UV. It's just faux Rizzle resin, epoxy resin. I mix up equal parts of that in just a little Dixie cup, but I use these little medicine cups. And for this, and it's a glitter base, so I'll probably use close to 20 milliliters total of the A and B epoxy mixed together. So I just measure up to 20 milliliters for each, and then I dump it into this cup. I stir it up quick, bubbles don't bother me. Then I take a flame torch. Flame is super important because it has something to do with the chemistry of the flame that pops the little micro bubbles that pop up when you mix the epoxy. Even if you mix the epoxy super slow, you still get the bubbles, and it's super important to pop them. Otherwise your texture of your cup is off because there will be little bumps all over on it. So some safety precautions. Epoxy, when it is mixed, it has a chemical reaction, and that is not good to get on your skin. So I do wear nitrile gloves. I try to recycle them by just wiping off whatever gets on my gloves with a baby wipe. I also wear a chemical mask when I do it. This faux Rizzle says that it is VOC free or safe or whatever it is, and that is supposed to be safe for people to inhale while the chemical reaction is happening, but I don't quite trust that. It makes me think of a time when asbestos was free to inhale. So I don't want to chance it, I don't want to risk it. So I wear a chemical mask, and then I turn on my turner here. It is just a rotisserie turner that my husband and I built together to have these cups turning, because epoxy is self-leveling, so we need to be sure that it is moving while the curing process is happening. Maybe someday I will do a tutorial or show you more in depth what my turner is, in case that's something that you would want to make for yourself. So I am going to speed up this video while I am mixing and applying the epoxy to the cup, and then we'll be back after it is completely cured to see the finished product. Here it is, guys, the finished product. This started out as just a regular old wine glass, and with a little bit of Mod Podge, glitter, epoxy, and patience, we end up with this beautiful cup. This is going to look great next to the set that I'm doing in my cupboard this holiday season, probably all winter, just because buffalo plaid is a winter thing in my head. So, what do you guys think? I love it. It turned out great. Thanks so much again for all of your support and for watching this tutorial. I hope to put out a couple more tutorials for you so you can see exactly what I'm doing here at my cute little shop that my handy hubby made for me. I love being out here. I love creating and making things for you guys. So keep me in mind when you have a gift idea for somebody else, or even if you're just looking for something for yourself to be personalized. I love to work with you all to make exactly what you have for ideas. So again, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.